Hello everyone, Jeff Eccles here with The Lonely Vine, and welcome to 2013, the first show of the new year. It's gonna be a good one. I got a good feeling on this one. So let me kind of set it up for you. I did a episode earlier, probably about mid-year last year, 2012, and where I compared Sangiovese and Nebbiolo. And, you know, one of my viewers commented on the show saying that, you know, it was helpful and it would be cool if I could do a show where I compared Vino Nobile de Montepulciano and Multepulciano d'Abruzzo. And I was like, wow, yes, what a great idea. So James W. from my YouTube comment, this show is for you. Before I start tasting them though, we need to kind of walk through what we're going to be tasting. I kind of have a feeling that there's two camps of people right now that are watching this. There's the camp that knows what the two wines are about. They're like, okay, this is going to be interesting. I know what you're doing here. And there's going to be the camp that's like, well, they're both Multepulciano, so what the H-E-double-L is going on? Well, that's what we're going to kind of explain here. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Multepulciano d'Abruzzo, and this is the Valle Reale. Okay, so when you're looking at Italian wines, some people talk about like German wines are confusing or French wines are confusing. No, they're not. Compared to Italian wines, they're easy as pie. Italy is where it gets confusing. So, but one thing that you can count on when you're reading a label, you see a label like this, is if you see a D apostrophe or if you see a D-I or whatever is coming after that is the location where the wine is coming from. So in this case, the Multepulciano d'Abruzzo is going to be the Multepulciano grape, and it's going to be coming from Abruzzo. So that's pretty simple to understand for this bottle of Italy. And that's going to be, if you're looking at Rome on the west coast of Italy, if you go east, pretty much straight east, maybe a little bit north along the Adriatic Sea on the east, that's going to be the Abruzzo region, and that's where we're going to get this grape. Now, with the other one, it's a little bit different. This is the, oh my goodness, Avignonese. I just butchered that, and I apologize to everybody from this winery. But this is the Vino Nobile de Montepulciano. Okay, so Vino Nobile de Montepulciano. So we kind of break the rules here a little bit. But this one, the bottle, the wine, is from Montepulciano. So, but as far as the first part, that's not the grape, right? Vino Nobile, it's, you know, the noble wine of Montepulciano. So we don't really know what wine is in this, what grape, but we do with this one. So are they the same? Is this Multepulciano de Montepulciano? No, it's not. This is going to be Sangiovese. Now there could be other grapes blended in with it by the DOCG rules. I did look this one up, and it is 100% Sangiovese. So we kind of know what we're going to be expecting with this one. This one is, I looked and I couldn't find what the blend was. So this one should be primarily, I think it's 70% minimum Montepulciano. It could have up to 15% Sangiovese in it. So I couldn't find what this blend is. So we'll see what happens once we get into it. So get it? Got it? Good. Let's taste some wine here. I think I'm gonna go with the, oh, and I didn't see the region of Montepulciano is north of Rome. If you kind of drew a line between Rome and Florence, it'd be probably about 2/3 of the way north of Rome towards Florence. So they're not real close to each other. They're not the same grape, but they have the same name in them. A common problem with people looking at them and being confused but hopefully I have shed the layers of confusion, raised the curtains, and everybody understands now. I'm gonna start, I think the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo will be a little bit more full, so I'm gonna start with the Vino Nobile de Montepulciano, even though I think this one will have a little bit more structure to it. But let's see what we have going on. You know what? I'm just gonna get them both in here so we can do a little comparison. So first, the Vino Nobile de Montepulciano. You know, and it's just fun to say Montepulciano. I mean, your hands start going, and it's just a fun word to say. Anyway, so the Vino Nobile di Montepulciano is the first one we're going to be looking at. And, you know, I don't know how much you can see it here. You probably can't. But it is lighter. I can see my fingers through it. Again, that's what we would expect from the Sangiovese grape. We'll probably expect some tannins to this one. We'll probably expect a lot of acid to this one. So color-wise, this one, it's got that little bit of orange, a little on the rim, you know. And when I'm looking at the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, you know, we've got some staining on the glass. You know, we don't have a whole lot over here. This is definitely a darker wine. I'm not seeing my fingers through it. Much more ruby, purple, darker kind of colors to it. Like I said, there's some staining, so I'm expecting this one to be a little bit bigger, bolder, have some more going on to it. That's just the visual piece of it. Let's get the nose into the Vino Nobile de Montepulciano and see what we've got going on. So I'm getting that cherry that you kind of expect. There's that licorice. There's, you know, the sour. When I say cherry, I mean like the sour cherries. I'm getting a little bit of earth, some dirt, getting some funk. You know, kind of the things I expect out of a Sangiovese based wine. Yep. Everything I would expect. Just had to run through a little checklist there. Tomato leaf in this one, which I really wouldn't expect, but yeah, it's there. It is there. For the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, I am getting that sour cherry. It's not as sour. I'm not getting the earth that I was getting out of this one. I'm not getting that kind of licorice thing going on. It smells heavier, if that makes any sense. It smells like there's more to it. Deeper. It smells, there's some darker fruits in there that maybe weren't in the first one. I'm getting a little bit of that stewed fruit kind of thing going on. But they both have that sour cherry going on. You know, so the nose is a little bit more difficult to pick out. I can definitely tell a difference. The color-wise so far has been drastic in difference. Okay, so now, to the good stuff. I'm getting some slobber going. I'm getting excited. So for the Vino Nobile de Montepulciano, let's see what we have going on the palate. And swallow, and swallow, and swallow, and spit bucket. High acid wine. The salivary glands are just working overtime. There's some nice tannins to this one. They're not super harsh or anything like that, but there's good tannic structure to it. There's a ton of acid to it. That sour cherry is really coming through. There's a nice long finish to this wine. Yeah, you know, it's very high acid. You know, that's the biggest thing that jumps out to me when I'm trying to look at it from how am I going to compare this to another wine perspective. That sour cherry comes through. You know, there's nice tannins to it. It's you know, because of that acid, it's kind of a good palate cleanser, and there's a nice finish to it. It's a nice, well-made, well-structured, tasty wine. Good job, Avignonese. I'm I'm still butchering that. I know it. I'm sorry. I didn't even think about trying to look up how to say that. Okay, so now, Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. So different grape, darker, more stewed fruit on the nose. Let's see what's going on in the palate on this one. Not nearly the amount of acid, not nearly the amount of tannins. They're still there. It's a lower acid wine. There's some nice tannins to it, but they're softer. So now it's finished, and this wine does have a little bit more body to it. It's a little bit on the darker side as far as like the fruits that are going on. I wasn't even paying attention. I was more concentrating on how's the acid and tannin structure to this wine. So I gotta taste it again. You know, kind of a range. I get multiple kind of cherry layers, more lush cherry to this one as well. And it's more, you know, there's a lot of cherry going on in here. So from a flavor perspective, I do see some similarities, other than, you know, kind of the same thing on the nose, kind of the same thing on the sight. This is a deeper, darker, bigger wine, just in general. Less acid, more acid. Let's break this down a little bit more. Color-wise, very distinct differences between the two. Nose, more earth on the Vino Nobile, more fruit on the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. On the palate, more acid. The Vino Nobile has a lot more acid than the Montepulciano. The Montepulciano has a little bit darker fruit component that comes through on it. So there you have it. There you have it, James W. There's my analysis of comparing Vino Nobile de Montepulciano and Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. I'm probably going to have a ton of people saying, you cannot speak Italian. Which is true. Let's get a question for this show. You know, and the Sangiovese versus Nebbiolo has been one of, consistently, week in and week out, one of my more viewed, higher watches videos. So, and you know, I had some good comments on it. You know, now I'm doing this one. And so if people are liking that, I'm willing to do more. I'm willing to drink 2 bottles of wine to give you information you want, or just entertain you, or just give you something to laugh at, whatever it takes. So if are there wines, are there grapes, are there regions that you would like to see in a side-by-side comparison to look at the two? If there are, put it in the comments section, and I will see what I can do to get that done for you. A little bit of website changes to things. If you are a podcaster, if you like to watch shows on podcasts, listen to shows, the videos into your podcast player. There's an RSS feed over here somewhere, link where you can get the appropriate link to that. Also, if you see over here, I have changed the sign up for notification widget on this side. I've introduced a newsletter format to the show, to the Lonely Vine website, where I'm hoping to put out monthly newsletters, kind of highlighting some of the best ofs or worst ofs that have gone over the month, and have a place where I can put all my wine tasting notes, everything that I've tasted, stuff to recommend, and whatnot. So if you're interested in that, please sign up for the newsletter over there. As always, there's a Facebook like up here. Follow me on Twitter over here. All those buttons are over there. And I think that's going to do it for the show. I hope to see you in the comments section. Love talking to you. And until next time, everybody,